Hey everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. I'm Muhammad Hassan, and in this video I'm going to teach how you can improve the code quality of your public GitHub repositories using SonarCloud. If you want to connect with me on my socials, you can see the link right here, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, do it right now as it helps the channel grow. Now without further ado, let's get into it. So essentially for this tutorial we are looking at one of the repositories that I've used in multiple videos as well. So if you go to this fun with JavaScript repository, which is under github.com/snir/fun with JavaScript, and then you can see that we have some code inside the source folder because we have some projects here. Now, as I said about SonarCloud, this essentially takes care of your code quality and kind of analyzes it automatically by looking into your code, and then provides you with suggestion in terms of how reliable your code is, how maintainable it is. In terms of security, are there any issues? What is the code coverage in terms of testing, for instance? How many code duplications are there and whatnot? So in order to work with GitHub, you just need to click the GitHub button, and then essentially it will ask you for access to your repository. I have already done that, so this is skipping it for me. But essentially, once you are in this SonarCloud application, you should be able to see a button that says import an organization from GitHub. Now, every project that you import in SonarCloud has to be within an organization. So if you don't have an organization, for instance, you can consider your profile as an organization. So I'm going to click this, and then it will give me this option to essentially select an organization. I'm going to select my name because the repository that we are interested in is inside my profile. So I'm going to go to ASUS here, and then I can look at the permissions of which repositories I want to allow for Sonar. You might see some different UI when selecting this because this is the second time I'm using it. But if you're using it the first time, you might just see this dialog where you can just go ahead and select the repository that you're interested in. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to just say fun with JavaScript and select it, and then just save it. Once I have saved this, I should be able to import that and create an organization using it. So you can see that the key here is my profile name, but you can give it whatever name you would like. Once you're done with that, you need to hit continue. And then the good thing about Sonar is that for all public repositories, it's absolutely free. So if you have an open source project that you maintain, this is an absolute gem for you. But it also has some paid plan, so you can also look into it if you are interested. But I'm going to use the free plan here and create the organization. And now you can see that I have this organization which has this name and this sort of key here, and then I can just select this fun with JavaScript repository and click setup. And what this will do is that it will start preparing an analysis, and once it's done with analyzing the repository, it will show it to us so we can look into the issues. One of the good things is that each new push on our main branch will also trigger another analysis, and each new pull request will also trigger an analysis, which means that at any point when we are updating our code, we should be able to see how our code is improving, what is the code quality and whatnot. Now that we have our code analyzed, you can see that how many lines of code we have, and you can also see some metrics like how much duplication we have in terms of percentage, how many duplicate blocks we have, and other things that we see is, for instance, in terms of maintainability, we have a 20 minutes of debt, which means that we have a debt that would take 20 minutes to resolve. And you can also see we have some code smell. I don't know what it is. It says code that is confusing and difficult to maintain. Awesome. So I'm interested in watching the bugs for now, so let's go through them. So here you can see that we have a lot of issues with the same title, which is add an alt attribute to this image, which means that there are some images that we are not handling correctly in terms of providing this attribute. It also tells how much effort it would take essentially in order to solve this issue. We also have another issue, which is this one, which says consider using for each instead of map, as its return value is not being used here. So if I open this one, I can actually see that this highlighted block uses entries.filter.map, but this map function essentially does not return any value. It just returns it here, but that doesn't cover 100% of the case. So in order to just avoid this one, we could use for each, because this is not returning any value, and this is a really valid point for me to consider to change this code in terms of code quality. Similarly, if I go here for this alt issue, it should show me that here this is the image which doesn't have the alt attribute, and this is really handy for me because I can just go to the particular image and then fix the issue. One really good thing that I personally liked about Sonar with the issues is that it also tells you why this is an issue. So if I click here, it shows me actually why this alt attributes is required for image tags and why it's bad if we don't provide it so. So this overview is absolutely helpful for me, as I know that I've got something to do this weekend that is resolving all these issues. One last thing to do in this project is that we just need to add a badge that we can just display below this heading that shows the state of the code review from Sonar. So in order to get that, you just go to your project in Sonar, and then on the right side you go all the way down here, and then you should be able to see this get project badges button. So you just go here and then copy this code, and then here for my project I'm gonna just go to the readme, and here below the heading I can just paste this badge that I copied from there. I'm gonna save this. I'm going to create a new branch here, so I'm gonna do a git checkout b, and then we can simply say feed sonar badge, and then I'm going to add the readme file, just commit it, docs readme, and then we are going to say add sonar badge, and here I'm just going to push it. So I need to push it using the upstream, and then this should be pushed to the repository, and let's see what happens in the repo. So if I go here, you can see that we have this change here. I'm going to create a pull request and kind of create it against the main branch, and then create the pull request. And as soon as I create the PR, you can see that within a few seconds we have this SonarCloud bot commenting about all the bugs, vulnerabilities, security hotspots, co-smell, and let's just merge this one. I'm going to delete the branch here and then go back to my code, and here you can see that this is showing a badge which is quality gate not completed. So if I'm gonna go here, I can see that we have a quality gate not computed here. So here we can set up what is the definition of the quality code computation. So you can see that we can compute it against a specific version. We can also specify a date where we can say compute all the code against the code at this specific date, or we could just do it with the previous version. So new code definition has been updated because now we are comparing all the new code against the previous code. And now that we have updated this, let's go back to the overview, and then you can see that next scan will generate a quality gate. So just for the sake of triggering another analysis, I'm gonna do sonar status, just updating the readme here, and then I can do git add, git commit amend, just to avoid another commit message, and then I'm gonna do a git push f, and this should essentially push our changes to the repository, which should essentially create another analysis. So I'm here now, and you can see that we have the code here. If I go back to my project, you can see that another analysis is started, and we're going to quickly wait for this analysis to be completed. And now you can see that the quality gate has passed. You can see that we have a new code, but we don't have any new bugs, new vulnerabilities, new security hotspots, or whatsoever. But the overall reliability, security, maintainability, and duplications stats are already there. So if I go to my repository again and refresh, you can see that now we have the quality gate pass label shown here. Alright, so I hope that you liked the video. If you did, give this a big thumbs up. If you want to connect with me, you can see the link here, and you can connect on my socials. And if you find value in my videos, you can always leave a sub. And with that said, happy coding, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.